Hi, I'm Kirsty Chabert. I'm 34 years old, based at Team Opposition at Lamf Common Stud. I'm a 3-day eventer. I spend most of my time either sat in the saddle or trying to spend a bit of time with my son Henry, who's 4. I got into eventing, I think, purely by being born into it. My father John was an eventer, went around Badminton and Burley, and my late mum Debbie, she was a Grand Prix dressage rider. So up until the age of 12, I was mad on jumping and hooning around the forest and jumping any gorse bush, log, stick, rubbish bins, all the things you probably weren't supposed to do as a kid. And then after my mum died, I took on her old dressage horses, and it basically showed me how to produce a horse and how they should feel on the flat. And I think that's probably a really valuable 2 years I spent doing pure dressage. And then I basically ran out of horsepower because they got old and I suddenly had to make my own horses. So I wasn't able to continue in the dressage world, and Dad's love was eventing and I came back to eventing. I love all 3 phases actually. I think I probably, if I was going to do anything now, would like to go pure show jumping. So I find the show jumping really exciting. It's such an expensive part to the eventing. On the last day, if you have a fence down, it's quite costly. The cross country has the most amazing adrenaline rush and this thrill that comes across. It's quite hard to control in the morning, Saturday mornings. You don't really know what to do, but by Saturday afternoon, if you've had a good ride, it's the most incredible feeling. And the dressage, you've just got to stay composed, yet you're really excited really for Saturday to come. And it's kind of a part of eventing that's, we all say it's the necessity, but it is by far the most important part to it. Yeah, I definitely do get nervous. I think it depends what horse we're sat on to which event we're going to. Sometimes I find taking the babies to their first 100 probably the most nerve-wracking, because you really don't know what they're going to do. You don't know how they're going to react to the outside influences, people, cars, gazebos, umbrellas, dogs barking. Whereas by the time you've taken your probably 10, 11, 12-year-old horse to its first 4 or 5 star, you should think you know most of their reactions to the outside influence. And I think the adrenaline rush that comes on a Saturday morning, we try and focus our attention to channel the energy. Instead of being nerves, that it becomes excitement for us. My biggest achievement on paper would probably being second at Lamoulan 5-star last year. I had a great ride around Badminton. I was the Pathfinder last year, and then unfortunately I had a run out at one of the corners. I think it was about fence 21, 22. And that was a sort of hit home. I needed to go home and do some homework, address the situation, and then I turned around and went to Mill Street, won the 4-star at Mill Street, then was second at Lamoulan 5-star, then went back to Ireland for another 4-star and won the 4-star there, and then returned to Mill Street, sorry, and was second in the 4-star. So Classic had a fairly formidable year last year, so very excited for this season. So I have Opposition Loire entered for Badminton this year. I think the thing I'm most proud about is having the homebred horses and taking them all the way to the 5-star level. I've done a few now, and I think it's a big credit to Dad and Mum's history really of the breeding, that if Loire starts at Badminton, every one of his stallions that he's stood here at Lamf Common Studs have bred 5-star horses, and I do think that is a legacy in the eventing that will be hard for another stud to beat. Badminton is a really prolific event for us eventers. I think the prestige of driving into the lorry park and taking your horses through the incredible stable arches and the walk out towards the main arena, and you look back, it is quite a surreal feeling to think actually you've got your horse and yourself, hopefully both fit and sound, to that level is a serious achievement. And I think most people, you say, I'm going to Badminton, most people have heard of Badminton. I have had the odd person in the past that thinks I'm going to play Badminton, but the majority of even non-horsey people do know what Badminton horse trial, that's not very good English, is it? But do understand about Badminton horse trials. So the horse's daily routine, the girls start the yard at 7:30, So they'll be fed first, then they'll all walk for half an hour in the morning, and then I generally would be here 8 at the latest, and maybe 8:45 if I have to do the school run. And then depending on which horses I've got, they'll either have the morning out or the afternoon out. Generally, I like to ride Classic and Loire in the morning, and then they can chill out in the field in the afternoon. And then on the build up now to the big events, they might need to walk for another half an hour in the evening. And then everything gets put to bed at 5. We micromanage. They don't need to go into a tougher routine. They would still jump the same number of times over a 2-week period. They'd still school the same number of times over a 2-week period. And the one thing that doesn't move really is the galloping. But if you go cross-country schooling, I try and put that on a day 5, so that is the gallop. You don't go cross-country schooling on day 3 and gallop on day 5. So the cross-country schooling works as the galloping day 5, and then you wait another 5 days, and then you'll go up to the gallops. So you basically cross-train to condition their body for running and jumping, which is essentially what they have to do for the cross-country phase. It's really great that we've got the backing of Amur products this year. Obviously heading off to Kentucky and Badminton, we don't know what the British weather's going to do or what's going to happen out in America. I know Kentucky's had snow one year and then been 30 degrees. So my packing essential list for Kentucky is the carbon mesh numner. So I've got a working numner and a white numner. My carbon cross-country boots will be going to both. And then for Badminton, we'll have a selection of either the cotton cross-country numners, possibly a suede one, and then the carbon mesh we'll take. I don't get anywhere without the acoustic fly ears. I like the Diamantes, just because I like a bit of bling. And the girls probably wouldn't go anywhere without the carbon mesh cooler. They have that in every lorry as a backup. It's perfect, even in the warm weather. It keeps the horses really cool, and when it's slightly cooler, it keeps the backs of the horses nice and warm without them getting too hot under a Thermotex or a slightly thicker rug. So that's definitely the girls' go-to must-have in every lorry.